Hi, and welcome to this terrifying new video. Before we start, I want to say something real quick. In my last movie review, which was my Spider-Man movie review, I was apologizing to you guys because of the drop of quality in my videos, especially the audio. As I told you, the main reason behind that was because my big camera that I used to use to make my videos, I don't have it with me at the moment. Well, I have an update for that. I might not be able to get my camera back. And if I do manage to get my camera back, it's gonna be a while. So I really hate to say this, and this really bothers me, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to be using this camera, which is my backup camera, as my primary camera in the meantime. Now let's get to the video. Sleep paralysis. I'm not gonna get too scientific with you on this one. I'm gonna tell you what it is in my own words. Sleep paralysis is when you're half awake and half asleep. You're aware of your surroundings, but it's like you're trapped inside your own body because you can't move and you can't talk. You can't cry for help. You can only move your eyes and see what's straight in front of you. A lot of people throughout the world have reported that when they are experiencing these episodes, they often feel an evil presence around them. Some people have reported seeing shadows, namely shadow people, and other terrifying creatures, like an old lady that a lot of people say they have seen. I have never seen that one. In the older days, people thought of sleep paralysis as demonic visitations. Demons would come to visit people at night while they were sleeping, and in some occasions, these demons would sit on the chest of their victims. And that's how many cultures explained how you couldn't move. It was because the demon was sitting on you and it was holding you down. That's really creepy. Now I'm gonna talk about my personal experience. I've been having these episodes since I was a teenager. One of the things believed to triggering sleep paralysis is high levels of anxiety. I believe that's the case with me since I have a very big anxiety problem. Also, a lot of people in my family have experienced this. My mother, my brother, my grandfather, some of my uncles, some of my cousins. So you could say it runs in the family. I think the most frustrating thing about sleep paralysis, and as I said, the most frustrating, not terrifying, is that since you're in that state between falling asleep and being awake, once you fall asleep and you find yourself trapped in sleep paralysis, usually when it happens to me, I manage to break out of it quickly. I manage to wake up again. But then again, I'm in that state of sleepiness, of falling asleep. So I fall asleep again. And then I'm trapped in sleep paralysis again. And I wake up again. And then you're stuck in that loop. But every time you fall asleep, the sleep paralysis has a stronger grip on you. By the fourth or fifth time that you find yourself waking up again, you're just so terrified of falling asleep again. And you just have to struggle to stay awake because your body is tired. Your mind and your body want to shut down. They want to go to sleep. But you know if you fall asleep, you're gonna be trapped in sleep paralysis. That's why it's so frustrating. It reminds me of those Freddy Krueger movies, The Nightmare of Elm Street, in which the characters were so terrified of falling asleep because they knew if they fell asleep, Freddy would kill them in their sleep. It's not the same exact thing, but it's comparable. Now I want to share with you guys my most intense and horrifying sleep paralysis experience. When I first came to the States around 5 or 6 years ago, we were living in my step-grandmother's house. That night, my whole family had gone out. I don't remember to do what. I just remember that I was alone in the house. I was in my room. I got bored and I decided I was going to watch a movie. I remember it was the first Transformers movie that I had it on DVD. So I put the movie on and I lay on my bed. And eventually, as I was watching the movie, I fell asleep. A few minutes later, I woke up and I realized I was trapped in sleep paralysis. I could only open my eyes and see what was in front of me. So I was aware, I was looking around what I could see, and in the position I fell asleep was on a side position, meaning my two arms were right in front of me. I started feeling a presence in the room with me. Suddenly, this shadow started to form right in front of me. Again, I'm in this position with my two arms, and this thing starts to form right there in front of me. And the best way I can describe it is like, you guys know who Venom is from Spider-Man? I know this is a really weird comparison, but it was like that. You know, he's like a black goo. It was like a black goo, and it was right there in front of me, and my two arms were inside it. My two arms were trapped inside it. So I'm like this thing is right here in front of me. My arms are inside of it, and I'm struggling because I can't move. Plus now my arms are in that thing, and I'm trying to get them out to no avail. Now this is where it gets really, really weird, and please bear with me because this is really hard to explain. When that thing materialized in front of me, the presence that I was feeling got so strong. Again, please bear with me. I could taste it. It's really weird. I could taste the presence. It was so strong, I could taste it in my mouth. And I'm not saying that it tasted real bad, like, it tasted bad. It was just, it felt horrible to feel that taste in my mouth, plus what was going on, and me feeling the presence overall. It was terrifying. I remember, since that thing was so close to my face, I was preparing myself mentally, because I thought it was going to reveal itself to me. I thought at some point like a face would come out of it, or I don't know, it would open up and show a face or something, and it wasn't going to be pretty. But it didn't do anything. It just stood there holding me and staring at me. We were staring at each other. And at some point, I remember it was so overwhelming that I was thinking, because I couldn't talk, I couldn't scream, I couldn't do anything, I could just think. And I was thinking to myself, fuck, I'm done. I'm gonna die here. I'll never wake up. This is it. It was really intense. And in an instant, the way it appeared, it just vanished. My arms were free and I could move again. I was freaked out. I immediately called my mother, and she more or less understood because she has experienced it too. Here's my take on this. Personally, I believe there is a spiritual world. I believe there's evil forces and good forces and stuff like that. To give it to you simpler and without too many bullshit, I believe in angels and demons. I believe in spiritual beings. And I find it so weird that so many people around the world that experience sleep paralysis have very similar experiences. Like this, they see shadows, they feel evil presences. Even people that haven't met each other. And when I started experiencing sleep paralysis, and I was so young, I was in my early teens, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. Like, nobody told me sleep paralysis is this, and you see shadows and you feel evil presences. Nobody told me what it was, and I felt it. I saw the shadows before I ever knew what it even was. I think that maybe that state of sleep paralysis connects us more to our spiritual side, and hence we see these weird beings and we feel these evil presences. I don't know, that's what I think about it. I think there's a lot of mysteries in life that we will never solve or understand. And now I'm gonna close this video with one more story. This one is short and it's from my grandfather. This took place a lot of years ago. We weren't even living in the States at that time. My grandfather is the kind of person that likes to sleep in a sitting position for some reason. It is more common for him to sleep like in a chair or in a sofa or something like that, rather than on a bed. Back then we had this amazing sofa that had cushions and it was reclinable. It was an amazing sofa, and my grandfather would sleep in it every single night. One morning he came to us and he told us what he had experienced the night before. As he was sleeping in the living room, he woke up stuck in sleep paralysis. He could only open his eyes and look around, and he started seeing these creatures. He described them as gnomes. They looked like gnomes or dwarves or something like that, and they had really sharp teeth. And they were crawling onto him. They were trying to grab him, and they were like mocking him and laughing at him. Imagine a situation like that. He was freaking out. He couldn't move. He couldn't scream. He couldn't do anything. He had to struggle there until he managed to wake up. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you like the content in this channel, the way you can support it is by leaving a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you've ever had any sleep paralysis experiences, please write them below in the comment sections. I would love to read them and talk about it with you. I will see you guys around. That is very, very creepy, isn't it? Trying to be scary, alright?